Hi guys, welcome back. I am here today to cover this little notebook to be my next journal. I actually had another journal made, a junk journal made ready for me to move into when I finished my personal journal I was working on. But then I saw Sarah from the Mushroom Market's video where she used magazines to cover a little journal like this, and I just had to do the same thing. I just felt so inspired by it. I just really wanted to try it out, and I had this blank notebook that had come with my traveler's notebook cover, and so I decided I would go ahead and cover it with some bits of magazine images and scrappy paper and things like that, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Sarah, for that inspiration. I have really enjoyed this process. So I'm just looking through a couple of magazines I have. I have 2 Frankie magazines and the latest Flow magazine, I believe, here. And I was just looking through them to find different bits and pieces. I just grab out a whole bunch of different images, so long as they don't have anything too amazing on the back that I'm not willing to cut out yet. I really loved that image of the girl eating noodles. I love eating noodles. It's something I do all the time, and so it just felt very relevant to me at this point in my life. So I go through and I collect up those images. These are the pictures that Sarah from the Mushroom Market used, those lovely, interesting pinky ones, and I wanted to use maybe one of those paper dolls, but I couldn't bear myself to cut them up because I'd be cutting into the one on the back. So I think I'm going to have to photocopy them if I want to use them, because I love them too much. This magazine, I think this is a Frankie magazine. I have just been really into Frankie magazines. They're not my they've got some good articles, but they're not my favourite to read. I prefer reading Flow magazines, but I really love the imagery in the Frankie magazines. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue down that red kind of gingham looking paper. I found that in one of the Frankie magazines and I love it. Red has been one of my favourite colours to use in my journal recently, so I'm really excited that I found this piece that was pretty large and I could use it on the cover of this journal. So I covered the whole front, except for there's just a little bit of brown down the bottom, which doesn't bother me in the slightest. And then it covered most of the back, and so I just get another scrap out later on to cover that piece at the back. Now I'm just going to go ahead and play around with some of the pieces I pulled out and see what I can do with them. So I decided I wanted to use that little windmill piece on the back, and I used that woman eating noodles on the front. I have these little faces, which I think are really adorable, and I use them on the front as well. I just cut around 3 of them because the whole 5 of them didn't quite fit, and then I'm just adding a few different bits of interesting patterns around to, I don't know, add some interest to the page. So I go ahead and I do that. I'm now just flipping through the magazine to see if I can find any extra paper that I think might look good covering up the edge piece, and I find an ad somewhere. I don't even know. There it is, an ad for Good Stuff Awards, and I use that paper there. I just think it looks really pretty. I tear it because I love a good torn edge look. So I tear down there, and then I'm going to glue that on to the back there. I really do enjoy how that is going to look. So I use my trusty old Anko glue from Kmart. It's just my favourite glue stick that I've managed to find. James bought me a couple of different glue sticks recently, and none of them were nearly as good, so I'm back to the Anko glue stick. So now I'm just having another little look through to find some other bits and pieces to add. Mostly as just sort of backgroundy pieces, not main focal images, but just extra paper that I can use to add more interest. So I cut out that little scrap there, and I believe that there's maybe 1 or 2 more scraps that I cut out. I think just one, a purpley little piece from near the beginning of this one, which is just down here. I just cut that little piece off the edge, and I'm just using these random bits to add some more interesting elements. I use this little piece at the top of the page here as kind of like a washi. I mean, it's not, it's just paper, but it gives that kind of effect when you just tear the edges and stick it on. I don't know, it just somehow reminds me of adding some washi tape. And then I'm going to glue down this piece here because I know I like it where I had put it. So I just stick that on. Really love how that looks. So now I'm going to glue on the images to the front cover. I'm just sort of slapping it down, honestly. I am just enjoying the process and putting things anywhere and just sort of, yeah, enjoying how it turns out. I realised I wanted that piece underneath, so I had to peel that picture back up a little bit to get that to fit under there. And now I'm just adding on these other little scrappy bits to just fill in some gaps. So, you know, most of that red and white is honestly almost covered up now, but I still really like that pop of the red coming out underneath. Then I'm just sticking those lovely girls on. I have these enormous alphabet stickers from Ellie Edwards, and I was just going to do the L, but it looked a little bit lonely, so I thought I'd do LW, but the W was too big, so I did LJ. My middle name is June, and so that's after my grandma. My grandma's name was June, and so it's a special name for me because I loved my grandma a lot. And so I decided to go with LJ on the front, and then to add a bit more black because the picture with the noodle eating woman has a lot of black, and then those stickers have a lot of black. I wanted to bring that black right around to kind of make it a bit more cohesive, so I add some of that black washi to the back as well, just to, yeah, pull the black right around the whole cover. I'm just going to add the rest of the last two little faces of those girls to the back, and then I'm all done. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. That really means a lot to me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!